Crank it up loud. Let the story unfold. We're the masters of slash. Be brave and be bold. In the heart of the battle, we'll rise from the ground. With every beat pumping in a warrior sound.
Hello and
What's
welcome to the Smash Masters podcast, where we talk about collision repair, PDR, everything in between. I'm Stefan Eschi. That's Nick Treece, and we have another great show for you tonight. How was your week? How was
pretty
your week,
good.
Nick?
It's pretty good. I've been on the slower trend, but that's good for me. I really enjoy that part, just kind of relaxing, hanging out, and yeah, just getting a break off a good heavy grind that I've been on. But yeah, it's been good.
That's
good. What
good.
about you?
I'm still grinding, man. I have not stopped working yet. I can't believe I'm still busy. It's cold. It's sub-freezing temperatures now. Hey, Josh. Aiden, how you doing, man?
Going on?
It's encouraging because I've been told that this PDR work really dies off in the winter, and I'm getting less calls, but I still have like 8 appointments booked right now.
Right.
So I can't complain, and it makes me feel much more mentally ready for this coming year.
The term dying off, slowing down just depends on the person. If you have a high value dollar amount you want to achieve, you're typically gonna need to not have to slow down so much. But I don't know. I enjoy it.
It just is what it is. I'm taking it as it comes. I would love. Actually, I was looking forward for it to slow down when it got cold. I am busy.
That's good. Nothing wrong with that.
I can't complain. MTE's coming up.
Yep, it's coming up. Not too long.
So I figured we do our due diligence, and guys, reasons to go to MTE. It's a great networking event. I mean, I'm only 2 years into PDR, and I have a large number of people in the industry I respect, and their phone numbers in my phone now, and I can call them anytime I need some help or advice or anything like that. It's all because I went to MTE and had a great time while I did it. I got to put my hands on all the tools, see what they really felt like in case I wanted to order them later on during the year.
A lot of times the pictures don't really do that much justice. I mean, you can't really tell the details on pictures most of the time.
Yeah, for sure. I just got to say, Aiden says he left the body shop and he's in a 3-month PDR training camp. And after, he's going to chase Hill.
Man.
Hell yeah, Aiden. That's awesome.
That's some dedication right there.
Very cool.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing where that goes.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of MTE, John Vidine announced the second ever Dreamy Awards.
Seen that.
Something that you and I both participated in last year. Actually, I got my t-shirt hanging right there from last year. It's what he's doing is you can make your own video for social media. They have to feature a Dent Reaper product somehow. And every video you post to any platform is an entry. If you submit them to him, is an entry into his contest. And he's giving away like thousands of dollars worth of tools this year. Like the grand prize is his stand, which retails at $3,500. The part stand. And he's giving away push tools, UFOs, Kratos. Guys, just make a stupid video and put it in there. It sounds like it's a random draw thing. So even if your video is not any good, you could still win that Reaper stand. That's what it sounds like.
Sounds like it.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, Kratos tools. I mean, there's lots of good stuff in there to get. I don't know that there's any Dent Reaper tools that you couldn't have and not be of good use. I mean, they're all good.
Yeah, I can't think of any that I don't like. That's for sure.
Right.
I mean, there's some that I haven't tried yet. You know what I want to try are the UFOs. For
Mhm.
some reason, I have those in my head. I want to try those.
Just see what happens, huh?
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Got one more thing. We got our Kiko K-Power giveaway going on our Facebook and Instagram.
Mhm.
So make sure to head over there and enter those giveaways. We'll remind you again next week. We're picking the winner the Monday before the Christmas holiday.
Right. And I know you mentioned it, but do you want to go with the merch and extra giveaways?
All right. So if you purchase merch from the Smash Masters merch website, you heard it here. Every piece of merch you purchase from our website gives you another entry in the giveaway. So
Right. I mean,
there you
why
go.
not? Right. Why not? Yeah. I mean, you got a good chance of winning already. Might as well go ahead and double it.
Right? Or a triple or a
Right.
quadruple.
Hey,
You know,
whatever you feel like doing.
the hoodies are really comfortable.
Right.
I have to say, it's getting cold. Get yourself a Smash Masters hoodie.
Why not?
All right. That's all I got.
Yeah, for sure. Let's get into the show.
All right. We got a great show for you guys tonight.
Mhm.
Maybe you saw we have Thad Treece coming on, and we already had Thad Treece on, but this is his father.
Right.
So it's not deja vu. It's just a new show. Let's bring him on out here. Thanks for joining us.
Hey,
Hey.
thanks for having me.
Good
Yeah.
afternoon. Good evening.
Good to be here.
Yeah. So I have to start with a little story of how I actually got confused finding both Thad's accounts. So your son, Thad, his Instagram handle is Dent Proof. Your Instagram handle is Dent Proof Reading. So I thought this was one company. And it's not. Yours isn't Dent Proof. It's Dent Pro of Reading.
Yes.
So,
but
man,
Dent
did that.
Proof.
Yeah.
Dent Proof Reading is my Dent Proof. Well, Dent Pro of Reading at hotmail.com. That's my email address.
Okay.
And TJ is what we call Thad Jr. TJ. Everybody else calls him Thad, but we call him TJ. He and I are actually got another little deal that we're working on, and we were trying to come up with a name. And because of the nature of what this deal is,
Mhm.
I thought Dent Proof would be the perfect name for it. And then when he started his own PDR business, he just ran with the Dent Proof. So, not only do you have Thad Treece on both of them, but
Yeah.
you've got Dent Proof Reading. So you
Okay.
can see the confusion there for sure.
So it
Yeah,
was a kind of a play on words thing.
It was definitely a play on words. Yeah.
Awesome.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, good. It hit right where it was because I was looking at those names going, what's going on? Anyway, glad you settled that for us because and Thad's popping in the comments. Before we go too far, Jesse, you asked about if you can get people involved. You can anybody can enter the giveaway.
Anybody. Yeah.
So,
yep.
Yeah, that's definitely a big thing. Speaking of that, have you ever used a K-Power?
I don't have K Power. I have several of the Metal Medic Beast bars.
Okay.
Same concept.
Yep, lateral tension.
Yep, same concept. As a matter of fact, TJ and I were at a Dent Tech meetup in Sacramento at Corey Kleinfeld's shop
Cool.
quite a few years ago. I don't remember exactly how long ago it was when Marty was there, Marty Runick, and Gene Fetty was there with the very first iteration of Kiko's lateral tension. And for all intents and purposes, it was the blue rectangular tabs, not even the centipede tabs, but they were solid blue rectangular tabs, a threaded rod. It was about a 3/8 inch threaded rod, if that, and the feet that would lock onto the tabs Gene was there. I think it was the actual prototype version of it. I don't think they even had them for sale yet,
Okay.
but a number of us saw that. And Marty was really kind of introducing the idea of tension and opening this dent up and how all that is going to sort of relax the dent.
Mhm.
Gene obviously was well versed in it as well, but I saw that and I was like, I get it. I get it.
Mm.
We
Yeah.
need that. And, obviously from there, you've seen how all of this is developed. You've got, I think Kiko still sells something like that. I know Ken Garrison at Metal Medic at the time was selling a threaded rod version of it.
Hmm.
In fact, if you go back to Marty Runick's, some of his old videos, he's got a number of them where he's actually got one working on his own pickup where he's got like 3/4 inch threaded rod, 5 of them on this big, huge dent.
Hmm.
Mm. Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of where that whole thing evolved from. But on that note, I am going to go onto the Smashmaster website and buy a T-shirt or something so I can get in on the drawing. So
Awesome. Well, to be clear, you don't need to purchase anything to get into drawing. You can just
No.
go in and do some tagging and liking.
Hmm.
well,
But
it'd
if
be
you
good to have a
go,
T-shirt
if you
anyways.
grab a T-shirt, we love that. So
Yeah,
don't.
for sure. That's
Yeah,
just going to count as an extra. That's all.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
also going to make a video with Reaper's the little crease tabs. Those gold crease tabs he has
Mhm.
are the
Oh,
bomb.
yeah.
Those things are awesome.
I have to agree. Those little stepped ones. Yeah.
I tell you,
Yeah,
there's
they're
not many
nice.
many skinny tabs like that you can get that really do the job like that. So
I have
Mhm.
to agree. They're great
Yeah.
tabs. Yeah. So believe it or not, I have used that original Kiko lateral tension. That was the first one I used. I
did
actually
yours
love.
blow?
Yes, but I loved it. I loved
Yeah.
it for that fact. The reason being, there's your constant tension. So when you put on the lateral tension and it's bowed out, and then you start
It
hammering,
stays constant. Yeah. The
you've
only
got the
problem with
spring
it
on
is
there.
that it will cause the tabs to dive. See?
You're right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 No, I only used it in body work, so I wasn't worried
Yeah.
about that.
Touche. Yeah.
Yeah, I said a little bit of
Right.
glaze would take care of that dive. But yeah, it was I liked it, and I liked it better than the thicker rod version that came out slightly after.
Mhm.
But the K Power, hands down, my favorite lateral tension tool.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they started moving the pulling tension to the outside and the gluing to the inside where it would
all the
pull,
companies.
yeah, that really
Yes.
solved all the diving
So
crisis that
you're
everybody
really,
had.
literally pulling on the tab instead of pushing on it. And
Right.
then quite a few of them now have that sort of anti-dive cavity there.
Yeah.
Right.
Just allows a little bit of space in between the panels. So
Yep.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
a lot of evolution in that in the last 5-6 years.
Yeah.
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 I mean, we've been doing it in the body shop for a long time.
Porta power.
Yeah,
Mhm.
porta power. Even I've just seen guys take either welding the tack and pull plates on laterally and pulling them,
Yep.
or even slapping some filler on that tack and pull plate and just slapping it on the panel.
Oh, now there's an
It
idea.
works a
yeah.
lot like glue, honestly.
Yeah.
And then you can get it off if you put it on unsanded
Sure.
paint.
Yeah.
But it's it's not a new thing, but it's definitely
No,
been
and
taking
to the
PDR.
collision industry, this is stuff that's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah,
Right.
this is what we understand, right?
Right.
Um,
I didn't know one body tech that done collision work for a number amount of time that while he might have had a porta power, but he also had the monkey on a stick thing.
Yep.
That tool right there.
You lost me with the monkey on a stick.
It's pretty much the same concept as stretching, but it was just a device that went down a pole on the bottom that had an L shaped, and you kind of just ratcheted it, and it did the same basic thing as lateral tension
Okay.
does. Except it had
it's
like
a friction jack, is what it
it's
is.
a friction jack, yeah, and it had
Yeah.
different hooks and stuff you could put on it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never heard
Yeah.
it called a monkey on a pole.
That's what it's called.
Yeah, no, it's funny that they call it that, but that is
right.
kind of what it's called.
I thought
Well,
it
now,
was a bit
picturing it,
ridiculous
yeah, I can
myself.
absolutely. That's a friction jack, is what that is.
Yep.
Keysco monkey on a stick. That's it right there.
Yeah. Well, now looking at it, I can see a monkey on a stick. I'll never.
Yeah, because it's just hanging on there, and you wiggle it back and forth to go
Right.
up and down. Yeah, so we've always
Yeah.
called it a monkey on a stick where I am. I'll even call it there on the website. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's we've been doing it forever. It's funny. I hear a lot of people mention Marty Runick as kind of the originator of bringing it into PDR. I hear that a lot.
PDR, yeah, he would absolutely deny, any idea that he started it. Obviously, he really pushes what is known as the Fairmont method,
Yeah.
and that's, I mean, you look in their, if you could go on eBay or even Amazon, you can buy a book titled "The Fairmont Method of Metal,"
Yeah.
and they have some diagrams from like in the 30s and 40s of using lateral tension. Now, it's not nearly as sophisticated as it is now, but
Right.
the idea and the concept was there. And what he did was brought it over from, he was a collision guy. He was a metal finisher, and introduced it into the PDR world. And
Right.
then obviously, some guys who are really good guys like Bryce and a number of other guys have really taken and run with it. And
And as soon as
but
Bryce
I
does
think-
it, everybody
I
does
think-
it.
right? But I think Marty's probably the guy who more than anybody brought it into the collision repair industry. I remember seeing videos that he had where he's got a stand built. It's a big metal frame that he would take a door off, bolt the door to this stand in the same sort of plane that it would be on the vehicle.
Yeah.
And he's got ratchets on both sides of this thing, and he's gluing like galvanized sheet metal, like
Yeah.
what do you call these things that carpenters would use to, sandwich certain parts of a house together. And he's gluing those things onto a panel and then clamping it with a Mo clamp and pulling it. But it's the same exact idea, lateral tension, and
Yep.
glued to
Yep.
the panel so it's not damaging the paint. So
Yeah. No,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. In the body shop, we would have to damage it would be more intrusive than what it is with glue now, obviously. But
yeah,
glue
and
is
from his background, he's probably okay. I would have welded this on before.
hmm
Now I'm going to glue it on and not damage
Right.
the paint, right? But the
Right.
same idea,
Yep.
to open it up and let the door have and the dents sort of now have room to go back where it needs to go. So
Yep. I love the sheet or the flat sheet on the bed mentality. You got to pull the edges of the sheet to pull the wrinkles out. You don't poke them out
Right.
with your finger. You
Right.
know?
Exactly. Yep.
So
Yep.
it's yep. You got to pull laterally. So
Yep.
all right. So let's talk about how you got started with cars. So you told us you started in collision repair. How did
Yeah, I
you get
did.
started in collision repair?
Well, again, this is a long time ago. Set the Wayback Machine, if you will.
Okay.
hmm
1983. I started at the body shop in January of 1983. So prior to that, the first 5 years out of high school, I was working in construction industry, concrete, and
Yeah.
operating a tractor for a concrete company.
Okay.
And we were in the South Bay, San Francisco Bay. We were in San Jose at the time, and there were a lot of sort of ebbs and flows and economic cycles there. And late 1982, I got laid off, went to the unemployment line, stood there for maybe 15 or 20 minutes, and I'm like, I can't do this. I got to go find something else to do.
Right.
So at the time, my neighbor 2 doors over was a painter at a body shop, and he said, I could put you on as an apprentice painter if you want to do that. So I went to work with him, worked there for probably 3 or 4 months, and then I got offered a job. You guys will know this. You've always got a rep from the paint store who comes around, and right, he's the local guy who knows everybody who's hiring, everybody who wants a job or whatever.
Yep.
And there was a Honda dealer body shop that was looking for an apprentice painter, and the guy told me about it. So I put in an application, I got the job, and that's essentially where I started, in the collision, because as I said earlier, I started as an apprentice painter, but I never was really good at painting. Started doing combination work, doing both small dents, small repairs, and then prepping it for paint. But when I started doing that, I really felt like I had a niche for, or a knack for metalwork.
Right.
And,
Right.
you know, from there, just really took off with the metal and collision side of it.
Mhm.
And that was without a doubt. I had more of a knack for that than I ever did for painting.
Right.
And so I was there for 10 years.
So how of that 10 years, how much of it was paint? How much of it was metal?
Oh, not even a year paint. Not
Okay.
even a year.
You
Okay.
went straight
I mean,
away
I
with it.
started as I spent the several months at the other body shop. And then I started at the Honda dealer, you know, as a painter's apprentice. And I don't know exactly, but early on started doing small repairs and then taking it in paint,
Right.
right? And it was a growing shop. So, you know, spot opened up for metalwork. I just moved into that.
Mhm.
Okay.
And
You pretty much just described my story a little bit right there. So yeah.
I was kind of wondering about that, but yeah. So then fast forward to probably about I left there in 1993 to come up here. So it's
What
probably about,
what was the standard procedure? What was the standard for body work? Was it drilling holes back then and welding them up?
when I
'Cause now we
started,
have like
there were still guys
piece.
drilling a 1/8 inch hole with
Yeah.
that little hook, you know, pulling dents out.
Yeah.
That was still acceptable at that point.
Yeah.
By the time I left there, that was not acceptable.
Okay.
You guys will. There were a number of different names for them, but I think the first one that came out, I want to say it was called a Spitznagel.
Yeah.
Basically a little stud welder, right? You put
Yeah.
the stud pin in there, up against,
Yep.
basically spot welds a little pin on. I don't, you know, there's a bunch of them now, and I don't know what they call them now, but you know, once
a
that
stud
came
welder.
out, boom, you're not drilling a hole anymore. Period. There's no
Right.
need for it.
Right.
And that was, I don't know, maybe halfway through that deal, 85, 6, 7, something like that.
Okay.
Then probably, like I say, I want to say around 89 or so, transitioning into, you know, the whole PDR thing. The
Right.
general manager of the dealership came back one day and he says, "Hey, I want you to come watch something." And I was with a customer at that point. And I said, you know, as soon as I'm done with this customer, I'll be right up there. What's going on? He said, "Well, we got this guy up on the showroom who says he's going to take the ding out of this new Accord on the showroom without affecting the paint." And I said, "He's blowing smoke, Norm. Don't waste your time." And it was the first Dent Wizard guy in there. His name was Clay Ramsey. Clay Ramsey.
Okay.
I went up to the showroom because obviously Norm's my boss. He signs my paycheck. So he tells me to go, I'm going to go.
Yeah.
And I went up there like this, right?
Body guy fashion.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
10 minutes in, I'm like, what? And it blew my mind sitting there watching this guy. It wasn't big. I mean, it was a ding like this, but I'd never seen that before. Right above the door handle on a black Honda Accord on the showroom.
Yep.
And I was just, my first reaction was fear. Like, these guys are going to put us out of business, right?
Right.
So first thing I did, I went back to the body shop and got a screwdriver and started prying on a fender. And all I can say is it's a good thing that we were replacing that fender because
Right. Right.
I chewed it up pretty good. But needless to say, you know, I started, now you got a guy coming in, let's say with a, you know, a Honda Accord, and it's got a 1-inch ding in the middle of the door. And even back then, you know, in the late 80s, something like that in a traditional repair was going to be $350, $400. And then you get a customer that says, well, I'll get back to you. But you could see on their face, you're never going to see them again.
Right.
Yeah.
And I started wondering, I wonder if, because I should back up, the Dent Wizard guy, because of the success on that Honda Accord, you know what he was doing? He was doing a demo so he could get in there and start doing
Okay.
used cars. So he was on the dealership on a regular basis, and I would see him. So one of these deals with the small ding, and the look on the customer's face, I thought, I'm never going to see this guy again. I thought, if you're willing to try something a little different, we might have a little different way to go on something like this. And at the time, I think Clay was charging like $75 for a dent like that.
Okay.
So I tell the customer, mark it up 25%, and we could try this. It might not be 100% perfect, but it's going to save you several $100s. Are you willing to try that?
Yeah.
So we started using Dent Wizard in the body shop there to do kind of things and retain the customer instead of the customer going off somewhere else trying to find it cheaper. Maybe they use paintless dent repair somewhere, or they do it for $50, $100 cheaper, and we never see that guy again. Now we've got that customer as still our customer. We made him happy. We've saved him some money. Yeah. And that's kind of where I got sort of hooked on the idea, at least, if you will, of paintless dent repair and the value of it.
Sure.
So
it's so where did it go from there? Was there a training aspect, or was it all just trial and error?
So again, this is probably late 80s, 88, 89. I'm not sure exactly when Wizard started. I do remember Clay hired another kid named Tom Anderson, who wound up becoming friends with, real nice guy. He wound up actually buying a Dent Pro franchise and moving up to Washington and doing that for a while. But there was a point at which Clay kind of started getting a little cherry picking, if you will. You'd have him look at a dent and he'd say, oh, yeah, no, that's not going to come out. That's not going to come out.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to break in real quick right here.
Sure.
When I was doing body work, and it was about 2 or 3 years in, I was hating it and wanting to get out. And a PDR guy came, looked at my dent and said, nope, can't do it, and walked away. And I said, man, it must be nice to have a job where you could just say no.
Right.
But go ahead.
You can't. And this is where I'm going with this.
Okay.
There was 2 or 3 times where Clay said no. Tom Anderson said no at one point. And I think, honestly, Tom thought he couldn't do it. I think Clay was just being lazy, because he had sort of a reputation for that. Tom didn't. Tom was a real good guy. But this would have been 1991. Roger Scala and Gary Kleinfeld had just started Dent Pro of San Jose. I don't know if you know Corey Kleinfeld. Gary was Corey's father.
Okay.
So they had got in and they were trying to do used cars as well. So they're kind of trying to come in behind Wizard and try and pick up some work. And periodically, Roger would pop his head in, hey, we're here doing some cars, just check and see if you need anything. Well, one day, it was actually one that Tom Anderson had passed on. And I just thought it couldn't be done because he said it couldn't be done. And Roger popped his head in not more than 10, 20 minutes later. And he said, hey, we're here doing some used cars. Just checking to see if you need anything. I said, well, Wizard just passed on this thing here. You want to take a shot at it? Yeah, sure. Here's the keys. He pulled it back around. Maybe, I don't know. That's a long time ago. That's 35 years ago.
Right.
But
Right.
an hour later,
Okay.
and the dent's gone. And that's all I knew. Like, okay, this guy just made my life easier, right?
Right.
So now Roger didn't tell me this until probably about 4 years. I'll tell you when he told me it, when Gary passed away 2 years ago. So maybe 3 years ago in October. And I was talking to Roger, and he told me at that point, he goes, never told you this, but we were bricks because of that. We didn't know if we could fix it, but we got an opportunity. Gary fixed it.
That's funny.
I didn't know any of that, and I didn't need to know any of that. What I knew is they took the car, they brought it back, and it was fixed. And that's why I say you can't say it can't be done, because Wizard said it can't be done. Even though they were nervous as a cat on a hot tin roof, they pulled it around, they brought it back, and it was done. And that's all I knew. right? So we got to be friends. I was using them a lot. I don't think I ever used Wizard after that. And
Okay.
at the shop, we were using Dent Pro a lot. Fast forward 1992, early winter, November, December. I'm just done with the body shop, done with the dealership, done with the Bay Area. Really wanted to get out of the Bay Area.
Okay.
We were looking at moving to Southern Oregon. Just fed up with it. We were on vacation in Southern Oregon, got to a point where I didn't even want to come back to San Jose and go back to work.
And it's gorgeous up there. I've
Yeah.
been there.
Yeah. And, my wife and I were talking about moving, and if we're going to do it, we really probably should do it before the kids get too old and get in high school and it's harder for them.
Mhm.
So we got back down to San Jose, and this is going to be just before Christmas, 1992. I'm walking across the lot and I see Roger standing next to his Dent Pro truck. And I was like, I wonder. So I went over and I talked to Roger and I said, hey, does Dent Pro have anybody up in Southern Oregon? And he goes, yeah, there's a guy up there, but I don't think he's real happy there. I think his wife wants to move back or whatever. So I got his number and I called him. Got to talking about buying that area, and we went up and met with him actually on New Year's Eve. Would have been New Year's Eve would have been 92, next day 93, right?
Right.
And he actually says, I don't want to sell the Medford area. I want to sell, it's that lake to the east of Medford.
I would know.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get 66 years old.
No worries.
Whatever the town, it's not a big town. And I don't really want to go there. So we left and we're driving home kind of dejected and bummed out and stopped to get something to eat in Reading. And it's like, what about Reading? It's halfway between. And I should point out, my wife's mother lived in just east of Medford.
Okay.
The rest of our family lived in the Bay Area. So it's halfway between both.
Oh.
So I got home, called the Dent Pro franchisor that night. And I said, hey, what about Reading? And, we'd love to have somebody there. So forward fast, we put the house on the market. I signed the contract on January 31st. I didn't leave my job at the dealership until March 31st because I think that's when I had my 10 years and became 100% vested in all profit sharing and 401k and all that.
Okay.
Started training with Dent Pro. Actually, I take it back. I took a 2-week vacation and I started 2 weeks worth of training while I was still employed at the dealership.
Yeah.
Went back, put in my 2 weeks notice, and then April 1st went back to training and finished the training. We had 8 weeks back then. That's 8 weeks. So we had 8 weeks of training. And then when we moved to Reading in May 15th, 1993, and they sent the franchisor's father, actually, who was just an incredible salesman, and another one of the techs up with us to help us get in the door of a lot of dealerships, open the doors, and kind of, make sure that we didn't get dents that we as rookies couldn't quite fix. They were real helpful there. May of 1993. So that's when we started officially Dent Pro of Reading.
Okay.
Myself and my brother-in-law.
So as you're learning PDR, was there anything specific, a hurdle that you had to cross or something, some kind of light switch moment that you remember?
Well, as I said earlier, in the training component, early on in the training, and it was probably within the first 2 weeks, because of my prior collision background and sort of the way that it was trained into us in the collision industry about how to get metal to flow and relax and move. I had this thing in my head that I already understand all this part. You just have to show me how to read a light and see my tip. And I didn't. You know, it was a
Right.
mistake. I really, I hit a wall big time at that point. And that's when I went back for the 2 extra weeks at the dealership. I said, when I go back, I've got to just put anything that I think I know out of my head, listen to what this trainer is telling me.
Mhm.
And that really opened up, you know, it just kind of from there to a certain point. Then you get to, it just seemed like, you know, another 2 weeks, I hit another wall.
Right.
And, you know, you kind of just keep pushing. I can't even remember what that wall was
Okay.
at that point. That's 32 years ago. And then, you know, the next wall maybe came a month. A lot of it, I think, for me was just being able, because back then we didn't use lights.
Right.
Believe it or not.
Right.
We
So what did you
used-
have?
Reflection boards.
No, it was before
No.
that. I'm almost
Okay.
embarrassed to say.
PVC pipe.
Base of it was a big steel wheel that came off of an irrigation
Yeah.
channel, the things that they would turn
Yep.
to
Yep.
raise an irrigation ditch door up.
Hmm.
And they kind of had fabricated a thing that would allow a 2-inch, or excuse me, a 2 1/4 inch PVC.
Yep.
And then you had a 2-inch Schedule 40 PVC pipe that slid down in it. So we had like a 5-foot tall white PVC pole.
Hmm.
And then on the top, it had a 45. So if you were working on a rail or a roof, that you could put another piece that would go like this. And that's what we were using. So you know, the sun's reflecting off the PVC pipe. And that was tough for me to read.
Hmm.
I'm sure.
It didn't really give you a shadow. It kind of gave you a sharp edge. And so starting a dent back then, you weren't really able to see directly into the middle of it and have that sort of soft fade like you have now.
Hmm.
And I don't know, we used those for, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years.
Oh
And
wow.
then at one of the, in fact, you know who introduced this? Tom Anderson, the guy who was from the Wizard,
Okay.
introduced us to the, because he stayed with Wizard for several years. It wasn't until 3 or 4 years on that he got involved with Dent Pro. But his dad used to make all the stands, the bases for them.
Mhm.
And so he introduced us to the PVC or the, what was that material? The sheet. I don't think it was Lexon. Maybe it was Delrin, but the sheet, you know, board.
Right.
Okay.
And we started using those, and it just gave you a lot wider light. And we would paint soft black fade through it, so it'd give you a, you know, a shadow to look
Mhm.
through, and it just makes it a lot easier to be able to see into the center of the dent to get it started, you know. And then as you move it out, you can just kind of follow the line out to the edge of the board to finish it off with.
It's
And we
interesting.
probably used those. I'll tell you how long we used those. We used them until 2011. We had a hailstorm in Chico, pretty good sized hailstorm. We had a lot of guys flooding the area, and several guys helping us who were using a fluorescent light at the time. And they had sort of added like flares to them to
Mhm.
give a soft fade.
Mhm.
And that's, I think, when we started using a fluorescent light, you know, just a corded fluorescent light at the time.
Mhm.
And,
I have to agree with Danny here. Your memory for dates is amazing. 'Cause I can't remember that kind of stuff at all.
Right.
well,
Right.
there was a lot of, you know, there were a lot of life-changing things happen at those dates, right? I mean, I
Okay.
quit a job. I'd been at it 10 years, started a new business. I'm guessing at the 88, 89 Wizard thing.
Mhm.
Okay.
only
All right.
based
Yeah.
On, you know, how long were we using them before Roger and Gary came around? And
Okay.
Roger and Gary, by the way, were tremendous help for us. Not
Mhm.
only
I
did they
bet.
help us get started and get into the franchise, but I mean, back then we didn't have the internet. We didn't even have cell phones when we started. We used to carry a bunch of quarters around
Yeah.
in the payphone until we realized we were spending more money on quarters than it would cost to buy a cell phone.
Mm.
Or actually, no, what we did, we bought it. We got a pager and then we got a cell
Yeah.
phone.
Yeah.
But
I can
even
still
back
remember
then,
the Snap-on trucks running around with pager numbers. on the side
Yeah,
of them.
yeah. But Roger and Gary were always a phone call away. I mean,
Right.
if I needed something, I don't know what to do here. They were a tremendous help. So
Yeah.
That is a huge resource. Like I mentioned earlier about MTE and networking and everything. It's been a game changer for me having all these people in my pocket that I can
yeah,
call.
I am a huge advocate of networking and have you made a comment when you were interviewing TJ, Stefan.
Mhm.
And I don't remember what TJ had said for you to react with this comment, but you said iron sharpens iron.
Mm.
And, that's part of half of the proverb. The proverb is, as iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens another man. And the idea is that when we work together, we bounce things off, we keep each other accountable.
Mhm.
If I know somebody's watching and checking up on me, I'm going to make sure that I'm doing the best I can. If I have a question about something, I've got somebody that I can bounce something off of. Fortunately, I have my son right here too, and he
Yeah.
and I bounce a lot off of each other. But, after 32 years in this business, I've got such a network of guys, really good guys, not just good technicians, but really good guys
Mhm.
that you trust and you can bounce things off of. And, they're not going to go and stab you in the back and try and take take accounts away from you. And we
Right.
don't have a lot of that up here anyways because we're fairly isolated.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. That's what he was saying when he was on the show. You guys were kind of stuck up
We're
there
2
by
hours from
yourselves.
everywhere.
Right. Right. Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's pretty awesome. And just referring back to like what you were talking about when hitting walls or roadblocks, learning this stuff. I found out that for me doing that kind of stuff, I tell myself I can't give up. So then what can I do? So I just kind of sit there and play along through different steps and scenarios and, work and mess with stuff until I get it right or as close as I can possibly get it at that point. But I tend to tackle everything that way, not just PDR, not just in general.
Yeah.
So, it's hard for me to stop and then say, okay, well, I learned this because I did that. Because I'm always saying, well, I got to find a solution to this problem. And if this isn't working, then what next?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's pretty much dent repair or any kind of blue collar job in general. You're just constantly searching for the
100%.
solution.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Creating
Bryce,
solutions.
at one time, Corey was interviewing Bryce and asked him about, I can't remember exactly how he put the question, but you're on these big dents and you're doing a mobile and you can't just like leave it in your shop overnight and go home and come back to it the next day. What do you do when you come across something like what you just mentioned, Nick? And Bryce made a comment, and I think he actually meant it, that, I have to look at this like I get this picture in my head that if I don't get this dent fixed, like my family's going to get kidnapped or something.
Right.
And just this mentality that I have to get it.
Yeah.
So, but that being said, that doesn't mean that you have to figure everything out yourself. And this is what I'm talking about with network. There's a number of us. I'll shoot a video to somebody, or somebody will shoot a video to me, and I'm kind of stuck right here. What do you think? How would you go about this? And
Mm.
it it's invaluable, honestly,
Mhm.
to have sort of those guys that you can turn to.
Mhm.
And like I said, fortunately for me, my son and I are half a mile apart. So
Right.
That's great. That's a
Yeah.
great resource right there. For those that don't have their son a half a mile apart or their father,
Yeah.
I would say that, I mean, networking and getting numbers and phone calling with people is great. There is a great group that I've utilized on Facebook called Real PDR Beginners Help on
Oh, I've
Facebook.
not seen that one. Okay.
It's kind of a smaller, but the guys that are in that group giving advice are the guys I would be calling.
Yeah.
So if
Mhm.
you just one post to that group and bam, 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 15 pieces of advice, 3 phone calls, 2 texts, just from
Yeah.
one video, and
Yeah.
That's great.
and
I mean,
the internet, the stuff that's out there, we didn't have that when I started, and that's why
Right.
I said, a phone call to Roger or Gary or one of the other guys, that's where it was for us. But with the internet and all the videos and stuff that's out there now, and I have no idea how many PDR guys there are in the United States. I don't have a clue,
Yeah.
but
Me either, really.
obviously there's got to be thousands, right?
there are.
Prior to the internet, I used to think there were hundreds.
Right.
But
There might have been at that point. I
yeah,
mean,
there might have been.
it
Well, I
was.
think
It's a niche thing.
Wizard has always been putting a lot of guys out there, chasing hail,
That's true.
and that business has a tendency to kind of burn some guys up. It's real easy to look at that and think, I can go out there and make a ton of money. It's hard work.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely is.
There's a lot of guys who stick with it for a long time and make a good living at it, but a lot of guys get burned out, and so there's this cycle of, or a lot of them get burned out on chasing hail and being
Yeah.
away from home all the time, and then decide I'm going to go open up a store or start doing it in my own town. So, but my point is that if you've got those guys or some sort of means where you can reach out to guys that, and not necessarily even have to be more experienced, but just maybe have a different take on what you're seeing. So
Right. Fresh eyes kind of thing.
exactly.
Yeah. Danny said, bring back the phone call. Spelling is hard, and bring back PVC at the dent competitions for MTE.
Oh, that would add an element to the dent competition.
Yeah, I don't know
No
how
lights.
Right.
how many guys are still around that would even remember that PVC, but
Sal would win.
Yeah. I see Sal doing it a lot.
Sal trained on the PVC.
Yeah.
He
Yep.
trained. I think he came on probably 6 months after I did. So he trained on the exact same PVC, and I think he still uses it sometimes.
I still see him post pictures of the PVC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's I mean, that's his thing, the natural reflection. So that's
Yeah.
what he preaches,
Mhm.
Yeah.
which is amazing. But yeah, it's intense stuff. And when Sal leaves a comment on someone's post, I always read it. Always,
Yeah.
100%.
He's an amazing technician, without a doubt.
Yeah, he is nice. And I will say I don't use natural reflection to do repairs, but I do use natural reflection to determine whether or not I have fixed it appropriately to where I can let it go home. I mean, I always cut lights off, look at it back, forth, the same way as I would be moving a light. I just take the light away,
There's almost always something in the background that will
Mhm.
kind of catch a little glitch that
Yeah.
your light didn't show. So
Yep. And then you can
and
go
it's
back
usually
forth for
about
that.
20 or 30 feet away from the car, way over there. That's near impossible to use to work off of. But
Yep.
but
That
it catches any imperfections. And video is a lot, for guys that are posting stuff.
There you
I was
go.
just
A lot
about
of
to say
times-
video.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you think you're done, and
Mhm.
you take a video and after video and watch it, and you go, "I'm not done.
That's not
I
done.
need to spend time on this." So
Right.
Yeah. That's it's really handy. I mean, we have the stereoscopic vision of two eyes that kind of blurs things together.
yeah,
So that single focus point from the camera can really reveal some stuff.
yeah,
I know all the trolls out there watching the dent fixing videos. I still see it low, but they all
Right.
pick up on it. But yeah, videos is definitely a good way. Taking a picture, it's a good way to check your work for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Are you planning to go to MTE this year?
Yeah, TJ and I already have. We've got our rooms booked, flights booked.
Cool.
God
Well,
willing, we'll be there.
We will
Yeah.
see you there then.
Yeah,
As long as nothing happens on our end either.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. This is my third year, our third year.
Yep.
Our
Same.
our first time, our first time going to this hotel, the Rosen Shingle Creek. I don't even know if
Yeah.
I'm saying it right.
Yeah.
I say
Yeah, I
all the
think that's
hotel
what it
name
is.
wrongs.
yeah. Looks like
but-
a nice place.
It does.
Yeah.
People say that they really like it in comparison to where we were the last couple of years. So let's I'm excited for the change in venue. I'm
Be
excited
the
just to
first
see
time.
everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first time for me and him both there. So it'd be kind of like a brand new experience. I know a lot of the guys that's been there before. It's like the old place, but I, looking forward to
Yeah,
it.
I would expect, or at least wouldn't be surprised to run into a lot of old faces. Remember the first time that we went to the PDR Expo in Vegas. I want to say that was September of 2019, and um, I ran into several guys that I hadn't seen in years. As a matter of fact, that was the first time I actually met Corey Kleinfeld. I'd known his dad for years and years and years, and seen Corey when he was a little kid, but it's the first time that I'd ever met him face to face there. But
Yeah.
Corey still looks young.
Mm-hmm.
well, he is young compared to me. So.
He looks young. I mean, so I've watched Corey talk at the shop owners round table at MTE during education day, and watching him walk up and then hearing him speak, it's like two different people. He's a young guy, but he comes out and what he says is it's just high end
And no lack of
advice.
confidence there, is it?
Right.
Oh, it's great, so it was
Yeah.
inspiring. I learned a lot just sitting in that one class. So
Yeah, he's a bright young guy, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure. And he's got it going on at his shop too. I mean, he's all the time got something cool going on.
Yeah. So he, like I said, Gary passed away. I don't remember, it was 2 or 3 years ago, October. It was on Halloween.
Okay.
And Corey had been sort of chomping at the bit for a while to grow, to expand. Gary had been through a number of these hiring your competition, training your competition guy, and just didn't really want to do it anymore. Corey was talking about, the potential for hiring subcontractors, that kind of thing. But, once Gary passed, Corey really took the bulls by the horns, and, he's got the, what do you call the Restore FX thing there. He's got the touch up thing there. So yeah, he's getting after it.
Yeah, he is.
So do you have a brick and mortar shop, right?
We do. We do.
Okay.
Yeah. And at this point, I'd probably I'm 4 days a week here in town in Reading, and I probably spend 85 to 90% of my time in those 4 days in the shop.
Okay.
On Fridays, I travel south for a couple of accounts that I have on a route, just people that have been with us for 30 plus years, and I just really don't want to just drop them.
Yeah.
What a good guy.
Yeah, right.
There's ulterior motives, believe me.
Okay.
Pay well.
All right.
We make good money. We make good
Well, that's
money.
good. That's good.
There's no denying that. But it's, 2 hours to get there. It's just kind of getting old.
Yeah.
But
2 hour drive. That's a long
at this
drive.
point, I'd be real happy to just stay in the shop all day, every day.
Do you
Got a nice heater and a nice air conditioner. So
Yeah.
Is your shop PDR only, or do you have other things you add to it?
PDR is all we do.
Okay. Nice.
We took on the paint thing at one point.
Spraying or touch up?
We had painting,
Oh.
doing touch up and painting. We had a big account with Enterprise Rent-A-Car at the time.
Yeah.
And they had asked us to take on, at the time, Dent Pro had a sort of sister company called Dent Pro Colors. A couple guys still do it. But the repair supervisor at Enterprise asked us to take that on. He said, you could have all our business if you do that. Well, we'll try it. And we put on a few guys. TJ was one of the first ones actually painting. We stayed busy, but in all honesty, I don't know that we ever made a profit on that.
Yeah.
It was,
Enterprise
trying to paint cars in a parking lot and make them look right.
Right.
In rain and 110-degree temperature. It was a struggle. And honestly, probably one of the happiest days of my life is when I decided to pull the plug on that. But
Yeah.
not one of the happiest days of my life, but I was really glad to do that.
Yeah.
So
You were ready to
that's
cut
we
that.
brought TJ in to start doing deads at that point. So
Okay. Yeah. You can get too caught up in the busy work kind of stuff because
100%. That's all it was busy work. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
And headaches. A lot of headaches.
Mm-hmm. Right,
So,
because if you have something that don't go right and you still have to repair it or whatever, there's a lot of mistakes or a lot of risk, I would say, that's involved in that.
With painting.
yeah, I mean, you guys
And
come out of body shop, so you know how it is with painting.
Mhm.
mhm,
We just never felt like we could provide the consistent level of quality
right.
with painting that we did with dents. And like I said, I was just happy when that was done and over.
Let
Yeah,
me tell you, the high-end body shops, well, the one that I worked in, uh, we used to call it NASCAR because the paint, they would come out of paint and you go right back around and back through paint, and right back around and back through paint. so,
I
so
worked on a
it's
truck today at a body shop, and for whatever reason, they wanted me to fix like 30 small hail dings on a
mhm,
hood.
okay.
And for whatever reason, they had already painted it. It was fresh paint on it. And I
yeah,
was like, what is the story with this thing? Why have you painted the hood already? And the estimator just kind of went, well, it's a long story, but this is like the
yeah.
third time we've painted this truck. And
Uh-huh.
the manager just told the owner, the vehicle owner, that he'd fix the dings for him for free. So
Mhm.
Oh,
I get your thing about you know,
oh
Right,
yeah, it
right,
just keeps going back through,
there's
and
several really good shops here in town that aren't like that, though. I mean, do
right.
really good quality paint. So
so
Oh, yeah, sure.
I guess my point to it was that shop that I speak of, I highly respect the owner because uh, he had a requirement for quality, and the reason things went back around again and again and
it
again because they
wasn't quite
wasn't
good enough. It was
right.
Yeah,
good, but not good enough.
Right. At
right.
least his process did catch those things before it got reassembled.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's still, I'm gonna say it was a high-end shop. It's probably the best
Yeah.
shop I've worked in. It's just everyone was miserable, so I couldn't stay there. So
So you're saying
that's a
so you're
different story.
saying they didn't just pull it outside and see what it looks like out there?
Like Danny said,
Yeah, that's my favorite paint quote. Let's see what it looks like outside.
just put it out. It'll
Hey,
look better
Stefan,
in the sun.
you're from Connecticut. What town in Connecticut are you in?
I'm originally from Woodbury, but I live in Terryville.
Okay. The reason I ask is my wife was born in Stamford. I'm not sure where that is in relation, but
That's more down by the coast, so
okay.
that's more in the higher end part of the state.
The
um,
hoity-toity, right? Yeah.
I'm down there a lot doing dents,
Okay.
so down by the coast. But I'm pretty sure if I'm not getting it mixed up with another town. I don't know all the towns, but I
I
know
know it is near the coast. I don't really know a
yeah.
lot about the area, but
Yeah, it's Connecticut's small. What's nice about that is that people call me, they ask me what my area it is. I say Connecticut, So I mean, there's some areas of Connecticut where I get calls and I'm like, yeah, call this other guy. I ain't coming out to
yeah,
you for $150 ding,
Yeah,
But
right.
if you got a big one, I'll drive. I'll go
yeah.
to you, So it's
Mhm.
I like it, I mean, Connecticut's expensive. But the climate's not so bad. We have the least amount of weather events, least amount of poisonous animals, like stupid things I think about, but my family is not too far, not as important as the poisonous animal thing, but but it's still important. But it's I like it up here. No hail. That's my main complaint.
Yeah,
There's no hail.
yeah.
Well, the thing is, though, when you start getting hail a lot, and you don't have to get it a lot, you have a couple of good storms, and all of a sudden you get flooded with a bunch of guys in your market, in your back door, in your shops, and they think, this Connecticut's not a bad place. Not a lot of
Right.
not a lot of weather events, not a lot of poisonous animals. I might want to stay here.
It's
So you
kind of
got
nice over here.
it's a
Yeah.
stressful situation for us. We've had several. 2019, we had a really big storm here in Reading, and there were guys from all over the place here setting up, camped out. 2011, we had a big storm in Chico. Same thing there. A couple storms. We had one in Yuba City, a couple in Corning. But every single time, the stress for me is protecting what I have here.
Right.
Not wanting all these guys to come into shops that I've got already and
Mhm.
maybe want to stay here. Reading can be a pretty nice place to live. It's not that expensive to live. Guys come here and they go, unless they come here in the middle of the summer.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You know, when it's 115 degrees, they're like, heck with this, I'm out of here.
Hmm.
But
To that effect, do you have employees?
at this point, it's TJ's off on his own. It's just myself and my brother-in-law, who is supposedly going to be retiring about 10 months.
Okay.
At one point, there was 13 of us.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
No. 11 of us.
Still,
But
it's
in 2009, when the financial crisis hit,
Mhm.
that's when we closed down the colors. We had 3 guys painting. We closed that down, and we had 2 dent guys that we had to let go. And then not shortly after that, about a year after that, one of our guys who was a really good employee, was actually my wife's cousin, crashed in his motorcycle and broke his back.
Oh wow.
Hmm.
And then, I mean, he's okay at this point,
Yeah.
but he could never do it again.
Right.
And so, you know, through attrition, we just haven't, again, like Gary Kleinfeld said, just don't want to train any more competition. So,
Well, that was my question. So I wondered how you felt about training people and then them becoming your competition. And
I don't like it.
Yeah,
California is, I mean, there's nothing you can do about it in California. I know
Yeah.
some states you can have them sign a non-compete and they'll hold up. It's not worth the paper it's printed on in California.
They try to do that here, but it doesn't stick either.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, you know,
Okay.
there's instances where you can maybe say, okay, you can't do this for, say, 2 years or within 50 miles or whatever.
Yeah.
But at some point, most of them wind up becoming your competition.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
and, you know, fortunately, I like what I do. I'm going to be
Right.
66 years old in 3 weeks, and I still enjoy what I do. I like working. I like fixing, especially bigger, goofier stuff, trying to figure out how to get this to relax and move, and how do I get free metal here. And so I enjoy it, and I feel really blessed for that. So
That's great.
That's awesome.
That's what I hope for.
Yeah.
As I'm getting in, because that's how I feel now. I love fixing dents. I really do.
yeah, I sure like it a whole lot better than working in a body shop. Let's
And
put it that
right.
way.
that's the main reason why I like
Yeah.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's gotten so tough in a body shop now to where, you know, it's all cutthroat, even down to the
Yeah,
detail guy nowadays.
Yeah.
I won't get into all that. It's
Yeah.
even without it, you know, body work dust is bad for you. Paint fumes are bad for you. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's good to not do that your entire life if you can.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
Known and yeah.
it's one interesting living though. I'll tell you that much. I've met a lot of interesting guys in the body
You
shops.
do meet some interesting guys in a body shop. Yeah.
Yeah, you really do. I've met some really good dudes and some that were like, I don't know how you made it this far, but
Yeah. You know, and I think a lot of it has to do too with the owners. We have one specific body shop here. The owners are just fantastic people, and they, you know, from them down, the whole shop is just quality people. They've had, you know, everybody there, a lot of longevity. Not everybody there is perfect, obviously, but
right.
you know, it's just, I've said this a number of times, and I've told them if I ever had to go back to work in a body shop, and I hope I never do, but if I did, that's probably the only place that I would consider going back into a body shop. But
I hear you. I think I have my one place picked out that if I had to go back,
if you had
know,
to, right?
would the first place I'd
Yeah.
walk into being with my head down.
Right. If I know the place I would go into, and I would gladly go back as an electrician and repair anything that needed done. So, you know, I'm not really mad about it, you know, but
I love it.
yeah.
On that note, Thad, thanks for coming on. It was
Hey,
it really
it's been a blast. I appreciate it.
I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
It went by so fast too. I
It
mean,
really did.
You had some
How
great
long's it been?
stories.
it's already been an
by
hour.
fast.
Yeah, right.
It
You
always
guys
goes
talk
by
a lot.
quick. Nah, you're a great guest. We really
Absolutely.
appreciate
Hey,
it.
thanks a lot. I appreciate you having me on. It's good
and
getting to know you.
thanks for giving us all TJ, as you call him,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun having him on the show.
Great technician and an awesome young man.
Yeah,
I'm real
yeah,
proud
for
of him.
sure.
We
for
really
sure.
enjoyed it, and for guys hanging out with us and stuff in the comments, man, we appreciate you guys too, hanging out, interacting, and making this thing fly
I
by
totally
as fast
ignored
as
all
it
the
did.
comments. TJ told me not to get distracted by them. So
It's easily you can do it pretty easy, and we have gotten off topics quite a few times in the past because of comments, but that is fun nonetheless. It is fun to see everybody hang out.
I like them coming in. Dad says, "Nice job, senior."
I saw that comment.
But yeah. Don't go
Hey,
anywhere.
I am going
Go ahead.
to I'll message you guys on Instagram. I want to get both your phone numbers too, because
Okay.
again, if this, as I was saying before, question you want to call or vice versa. I've
Absolutely.
been 32 years in PDR and another 10 in the body shop. So
Yeah,
I'll take it. It's
Yeah.
Absolutely.
another name in my pocket.
and another friend.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
yeah.
I
like it.
we can't wait to see you guys at MTE.
Yeah, make sure to track you guys down. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
we'll be
Are you
there.
going to have a booth there or what?
No booth, but we will be
Okay.
doing YouTube
I
videos
thought you
here and
might
there
be- oh,
for
you are? Okay,
new
okay.
topics and stuff. Yeah, that's really the only thing we're going to be doing. So
All right.
Yep. During that time, and we'll be at all the parties and everything too. So maybe we'll have a
Parties?
beer together. Oh yeah, there's parties every evening. He said it's your first time, both of you going to
To
MTE.
MTE. Yeah, I've been to the
Yeah.
PDR Expo, which I mean that's easy to get to for us on a long
Sure.
weekend, but
It's
never MTE, and so
Well,
I'm looking forward to it.
Danny, Kiko hasn't asked us to appear in the Kiko booth yet, so that's why we don't have a booth. So, just
Yeah.
kidding. But no, if it's your first year, I haven't been to PDR Expo, but I think you're going to be quite not overwhelmed, but it's just I hear
Everybody says
empty.
it's on another level. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like everybody says PDR Expo except way bigger. So whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
I haven't been to the PDR Expo in Vegas, so whatever that is, it's just a lot bigger.
So the PDR in Vegas, I've seen some guys from Mexico. I did see one guy from Japan, but most of them, North America,
Yeah.
Yep.
United States. The way all the videos I've seen of MTE, there's everybody in the world. So
Yep.
Everybody.
This
Yep.
is the big one. I mean,
Oh.
there are a few shows over in Europe that look to be kind of competing and getting bigger every year, but MTE is still the biggest recon show in the world. So
Yeah, this is kind of like the PDR SEMA world, if you know what SEMA is about.
Gotcha. Yep.
It's what that is pretty much.
yeah, absolutely. Well, don't go anywhere. We're going to put you in the back room, and we'll say our goodbyes after we finish the live.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah,
Yep.
thanks for coming on.
Appreciate you guys out there.
Yep. Yeah. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.
So crank it up